Well, welcome back to the Well Below Average podcast with Nick, Roy, and Adam. We have a full roster, but of course, Nick's not here today. He's not feeling well, but I'm Adam Isch. Roy White is with us as always. How you doing today, Roy?
What's up, brother? Doing good. Ready to pod.
All right. Got exciting guests. We got Dan Mcdowell from The Ticket, the world famous local radio station. How does that work? Get off subject here, but I'll hear like the Pen and Skin show and The Ticket, and we're the world famous Ticket, or we're the most popular drive time show in America. How does that figured? I've always been curious about that.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's somewhat of a just advertising staple there, right? It's like we absorb more moisture than the other towel company, right? Better than your leading average towel company. Of course, it's somewhat tongue-in-cheek, right? And The Ticket has always been very inside joke. I grew up on The Ticket. Huge fan of Dan McDowell. I mean, the quasi-leader of mine is Dan McDowell. Not only do I find his humor to be incredible, and his ability to express that humor incredibly, but I'm just such a fan also of the way that he kind of looks at the world and thinks about things. He really is a thoughtful individual, and I think you can tell that when you listen to his show. So, when they say, the world famous Little Ticket, well, the reason it is world famous is because they have evidence that there are people living in New Zealand, in Australia, in Japan, in, India that are listening to their program and engaging in it. So, I don't think it's exactly false advertising. Whether or not they are the most listened to program in the entire country in that time slot, that's probably up for debate. But at the same time, you also have to understand what you're up against as far as the system that they're in. The Nielsen ratings are what determines local radio ratings, and the Nielsen ratings, quite honestly, have probably been outdated for 25, 30 years. And that's before we even got into this internet podcast, anybody can hear anything anywhere world. So at this point, I don't know who's really got a finger on the pulse as to say what the number one program in the world, country, locally really is. But having said that, in my time when I was at the Fan, we probably could count on our two hands the number of months in which we had a better rating than the corresponding show on The Ticket.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to unseat the king, but I know the Fan has a good following and put out some really good content. Well, we don't want to hold Dan up too much longer, so let me get into our sponsors real quick. Me and the bobblehead of JD Drew are going to talk to you about Rodeo Coffee. It's a small batch, local roasters. They roast their own beans, source them ethically. Rodeo Coffee is run by an awesome couple, Chaz and Aaron. They have a coffee truck now, which is up over in West Fort Worth. So swing by there. I believe you can order online, ground, whole bean coffee. If you're a coffee connoisseur, you want to try Rodeo Coffee. It is.
They got excellent. The beans.
They got the beans. The Colombian blend is my favorite. So check them out at Rodeo Coffee. You can find them on Instagram and see where they're at. Our other sponsor is Local Menace, which is a local Dallas-based artist-owned streetwear brand. They do hats, t-shirts, pendants, hoodies, anything you could think of. It's all kinds of designs. It's hand-drawn by the owner, Justin. Amazing quality merchandise, bolster up your wardrobe. Actually, they're hell-bent on destroying your wardrobe, as they say. So check them out at localmenace.com and use code BEARDCREW for 25% off. And of course, my company, Ish Beard Works. If you've got a nice fluffy man mane or even a Fu Manchu, you could always make it a little healthier, a little shinier. So check out ishbeardworks.com and use code BEARDCREW for 10% off any purchases at ishbeardworks.com. So JD Drew did not carry his end of the bargain here, but let's skip ahead.
What was he supposed to carry?
I don't know. He's supposed to nod for me. His head fell off the other day. So I used to have a whole set. I had him. I have Fernando Vina, Fernando Tatis, and Albert Pujols. All I have left is him and a broken Fernando Vina.
If you don't put them in a place in which they're fully protected, they will not last long, in my experience.
No. Yeah, they've survived my kids, so yeah. So let's get Dan on.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
he's standing by, the consummate professional, this man.
Yes.
Taking the time out of his busy Sunday to join us for a podcast. Dan is not a golfing man, thankfully. So, because if this were Bob Sturm or Corby Davidson, this might be a tougher get. But hopefully Dan is enjoying a Saturday afternoon with his family. I feel like I know so much about Dan, and in truth, Dan is aware of me. He knows who I am, and I'd like to say that we could consider ourselves friends, maybe acquaintances, if you will. I'm probably extending myself too far to say that we are friends. But at the same time, any opportunity I've had a chance to interact with Dan, I've thoroughly enjoyed, and I hope he feels the same.
Yes, I would agree with you. Acquaintances, but yes, it's always been fun having him on. And I am trying to get there we go. Trying to get all our stuff ready for the interview. It's on my phone.
Let's do it. Well, I can't wait to hear his thoughts on Ukraine.
Yes, Ukraine.
The next Hitler, if you will. For those that don't know, Dan Mcdowell, quite knowledgeable about one Adolf Hitler, and not in a nefarious way. Just in a interested in history and how we avoid repeating it way. And I would imagine he's got some thoughts on the current crisis going on there in Ukraine.
Do you ever, are you a big podcast guy? Like, do you listen to podcasts frequently, or?
I wouldn't say that I listen to a ton, no, because it still feels like a landscape that I'm intimidated by. It's so vast that it's difficult for me to narrow down exactly what I would like to listen to. But in regards to, podcasts, I would say that I do like to listen to, recorded episodes of segments that have been run on the ticket, whether that's the ticket top 10 or whether that's, recapping a great bit or something to that effect. That's kind of my podcasting world. It's not necessarily the episodal podcast, but more so the catch-up podcast.
All right. Well, joining us as promised is Dan Mcdowell and the disembodied head of Will Ferrell. How's it going, Dan?
What a treat.
And his friend.
And his friend.
What a treat.
Yes.
His brother. Roy, what's up?
What's up, Dan?
Sweet
How are you, brother?
mustache.
Thank you, sir. This whole work at home thing, I had to have a reason to get up every morning. And this was just enough to do it, right? A quick peek in the mirror, put a smile on my face with how ridiculous this just might be. And now I'm, as you guys have said many times, one can become a slave to their own bit. I'm so pot committed to it at this point that I don't feel I can turn back and just let it go that perhaps I might have a couple months ago.
I love it.
Yeah, you look like you're growing in one.
Yeah. Trying to get a sponsorship from Isch Beard Works, I see.
Yeah.
But
thanks for joining us, Dan. What a pleasure it is. Adam gave you a little introduction there, but for those that don't know, the world famous now Hang Zone, and I believe he's hanging in the spot that generated the Hang Zone. If I'm wrong, this is the spot above your garage where it all began.
High atop the garage. That's right.
Man, where some serious magic had been made over the last couple of years. Do you miss, would you prefer to broadcast from there on a daily if you could do that going forward?
If the rest of the crew were here, I would.
Okay.
I enjoy.
That's what I miss too, right? Yeah.
But I do love the extra time not spent on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And spending money on gas and all that.
Yeah, having worked a couple of different shifts, that midday, it's tough to beat that midday commute, though, with the traffic that you don't have to deal with. Because if you do the morning, if you do the afternoon, you really got to make some hard decisions about how early you're going to get up to avoid the traffic, or how late you're going to try to push it. I always thought the midday, man, 10 o'clock was right around the perfect time to start making my way into Dallas.
I do believe I've had the perfect shift for like 20 years. So I'm blessed and humbled to have this shift.
Well, we didn't bring you on to talk about work shifts. We brought you on to play a little game, and I couldn't think of a better person to participate in this. It's simple. It's Hitler quote or inspirational movie quote. So I will read off a quote. And
before we start, how confident do you feel about that topic, Dan?
Well, I've read Rise and Fall of the Third Reich.
Okay.
So I don't know how many Hitler quotes were in there.
Well, there are some that are pretty obvious that I'll skip over. But
do you have a favorite before we get started?
No, I don't think I can name any Hitler quotes, actually. But I could just surmise what he might have said. Probably said some bad things.
Well, we will see if you could tell how bad it really is. So I will post the quote, and then you will compete against each other, and I will keep score on something.
I'm competing against Roy?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have not seen these questions or quotes either before, and I have not read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, although that does sound interesting given our current state of affairs in the world today.
Yeah, it's really, really a good book, but it was quite some time ago I read it, so I don't remember if it relates to everything we've gone through, all this difficult times.
Boy, these last 4 years, man, it's like the old people had the Great Depression. Well, welcome to COVID, bitch.
No, I'm way more depressed. What's that?
I'm just saying we have something now.
Yeah, now we have something. Our generation finally got something. We didn't think we were going to get anything. I thought the Great World Wars, that was going to be the last of that, but no, here come the rip-roaring 20s to really give us a good shot in the arm.
Yes. You know what? I spent 4 years in the military, like 12 years ago. I thought I was done with this. All right, so here it is. Inspirational movie quote or Hitler quote. And I'll read it off, and y'all could pick the order you want to go in. All right, here we go. Anyone can deal with victory. Only the mighty can bear defeat.
I'll defer to the guest. Yeah,
I'm going to say not Hitler, because
okay.
I don't think he's even talking. I don't think he would say mighty people have defeat.
I 100% agree with Dan. There's no way Hitler was speaking in terms of defeat, right? He wasn't even willing to admit his own. Faked his own death with Eva Braun, and then apparently lived the rest of his life on the beach somewhere, is what I've been told.
Argentina, right? Yeah. Well, those sound logic. I'm going to give that to you, but no, that is Hitler. Hitler quote.
Mm.
Maybe
I don't have any.
Was trying to have someone give in. Let's say Churchill, and trying to do a little psychology to say, the mighty leaders, they could admit defeat.
A couple of mind games. Ring work, if you will.
He would never call himself great for admitting defeat.
Well, perhaps, though, also, his first foray, attempted takeover, right, of the German government did not go well. He failed in that.
That's
and
true.
He was never charged. Perhaps maybe that was what he was referring to, was that he was mighty in his own defeat in that moment.
Perhaps.
All right. So we're 0-0.
Audio.
What's that?
Are you hearing Roy?
I'm hearing Roy.
I'm sorry. I was thinking you might be hearing my young daughter, who's on the other side of the door, and wants to. Yeah, I did mute myself on purpose to try to talk through the door to her that it's going to be okay, that she can survive without me for a little bit. All right, let me do that. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right.
Perhaps she's read Mein Kampf, which I have not.
I have not either. Seems like a weird book to read.
Hey, don't
It might be good.
Poor
Come
daughter.
here. Yeah, come here.
What's your daughter's name?
Her name is Penelope. Penny, you say hi.
Hi.
Hi to Dan. And hi to Adam. Yeah. You want to show them your bracelet? I got candy on my bracelet.
Oh man, how could anybody be unhappy with candy on their arm?
What do you think? You want to find out what Hitler said?
See a little dog?
You do? Okay.
My little dog.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
Got your companion.
I got a JD Drew bobblehead.
All right, let's
Both
play.
very, all,
That's
both
all I got.
very
All
good.
right.
Hey, she's good. She's ready to rock.
Next quote is, "Reading is not an end to itself, but a means to an end."
Reading.
Hey, is that orange juice?
No, it's not. It's
I'm
not
gonna guess
just
not
orange
Hitler.
juice.
What's it called?
Okay, so we got one not
Doesn't
Hitler.
sound very inspirational either.
Daddy, what's this called?
Yeah, I'm going to zag. I'm going to say
Daddy, what
because
is
it's not
called?
inspirational, you chose uninspirational quotes from Hitler. I'm going to say that was Hitler.
Called?
That was Hitler, correct?
Daddy,
Yes!
Wow, 2 in a row.
what's
Oh,
that
bro.
Hitler.
called?
Big reader. People don't know that about
Daddy,
him.
what's that called?
Yes,
It's called
so that's
alcohol. Screwdriver.
Oh.
all right.
Now
Next
say,
quote
Daddy,
is-
really Sunday at 4:20.
Dada, you don't like alcohol. Daddy, I see amounts of alcohol.
Yeah, you think I drink too much alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my kids say about my wife.
Yeah,
All right,
it
next
is.
quote
Too
is,
many vices. Sorry.
"Your past experiences are valuable lessons to you now. Learn from them."
Daddy, you can't walk upstairs. You gotta walk down here. You gotta walk downstairs.
I feel like
Daddy.
I have to just stick with this not Hitler thing
Oh, suits.
until I get one right.
All right.
I'm going to say not Hitler as well.
Something Hitler said.
I'm going to say not Hitler as well. That sounds like an inspirational movie quote from like a dad to a son or like a... Yeah, that's an inspirational movie quote.
All right, you are both correct. It is a quote from The Lion King.
Daddy, I
Rafiki tells that to a young Simba. All right,
Classic
next
Rafiki.
Yeah,
Great mentor character.
Rafiki's always got the good
we
stuff.
gotta close doors.
Let's see.
Pretty into his own thing, though. He didn't really help a whole lot outside of...
You know,
I
He's just-
guess he did get involved in the fight in the end, but he could have done more. You know, with his wisdom.
who
He
knows
could've
what he's
Sounds like somebody
Also-
who's seen The Lion King pretty recently.
Too many times, Dan. Too many times.
It's been a while. Okay, I can't
Daughter's
speak to it.
wheelhouse?
That's my daughter's wheelhouse. Although right now, it is heavily dwarfed by Bruno, aka Encanto, and Frozen, which still gets run on a fairly regular basis because we always want to be a princess. What are we if we're not a princess?
That's right.
Okay, next
That's
quote.
a Hitler quote, by the way. The "What are we if not a princess?"
You know, how'd you know? No. So words build bridges into explored regions.
Words build bridges into explored regions.
Yes.
Let's go Hitler. Haven't gone Hitler yet.
All right. Let's see. What do you think, Roy?
I feel Hitler because it seems like it's badly translated, right? So
Yeah.
if that was an
That's something
inspirational
else that
movie
sounded
quote,
more wise in German.
yeah, that would have been written
Yeah.
better. But because it's like from German to English, I was about to say American, but English. Yeah, I think that's Hitler.
That is correct. You're both correct. Hitler. All right. Roy's leading 3-2 right now. So let's move on to our next quote.
And if you like, I'll take a shot first. That way you can zag if you have if you want an opportunity to steal or I don't know how important the
We
points
didn't
are.
seem
in
to
this
have
one,
any rules on that. I guess I keep
but,
jumping.
that's
up.
okay.
Yeah.
No, you're good. We defer to the guest
We'll
in
give
most
Roy
cases. 'Cause
the next 5.
Oh, the next 5. All right. Everyone has a choice. Everyone has a choice. You could choose your own path in life.
That's an inspirational movie quote. Feel confident. Final answer.
Yeah, because Hitler wasn't given a lot of choices. Right? He was like, oh, man, be yourself, be free. He's pretty much saying, you're going to do what I say. Not Hitler.
Not Hitler. That is not Hitler. That is the Green Goblin from the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Saw that the other day.
Okay.
Doesn't hold up great, but it was a good refresher for those that have no spoilers for Spider-Man Far From Home, but good refresher for that movie.
Yes, it's a classic. Yeah, I enjoy those. They hold a special place in my heart for the time they came out. All right, next quote. The least expected things happen at your least expected time in life.
Daddy, you're not Spider-Man.
No, I'm not Spider-Man. I will go Hitler on that. It just how my initial feeling is not Hitler. Inspirational movie quote, but it's so basic that the
least expected. What is it again?
The least expected things happen at your least expected time in life.
All right, so you said Hitler. I'm gonna go movie.
It is movie. It is from Forrest Gump. We are tied up.
Do we get a bonus if we can guess the movie?
Sure.
Yeah, there doesn't seem.
Could you have guessed that movie?
No.
Okay.
Just for the future, I'm thinking, what if I do?
Well, I don't think there's any Step Brothers or Kingpins quotes in here.
Oh.
Daddy, why?
And you missed a lot of inspirational quote potential there.
I know. I don't know why I didn't like.
Why? Why are you using your microphone?
All right. As in everything, nature is the best instructor.
Why are you work on your microphone?
That feels like Hitler. That feels like Hitler because he was he thought it was nature that determined like people's status in life, right? I mean, nature determines whether you got blue eyes or blonde hair or not. And I feel like he was, the Fuhrer was a believer in nature. So, yes, Fuhrer quote.
Right. A little bit of a skewed view on the natural order of things, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was.
Way skewed.
It wasn't his fault. He was just following nature's guidelines. So, according to him, in his...
He didn't make the rules.
Hitler mind, yeah. So, let me go with Roy here. Yes, it's Hitler.
Correct. Hitler. All right, we're still tied up at 5. All right, let me see. Let me find some. There's a ton of these. All right. Let's switch over here.
So I know you got excited about this game a couple weeks ago. Is this inspiration struck you and you said, I'm gonna wait?
Yes, I was excited about it. We're gonna play it last week, but Roy's now part of our show, so we kind of ran long.
He couldn't wait to research Hitler quotes, though. He was very excited about that. He has been talking about it for 2 weeks.
Kind of like looks like you're doing it on the fly here, though.
I have my sources here. I just I didn't pick out any particular ones. I read them all. Yeah, I have a big list of each of like movie quotes and Hitler quotes.
Oh, okay. So you're just cherry picking on both of them. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So make every moment count. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Don't. Make every moment count. Enjoy your lifetime. Don't waste it.
That's an inspirational movie quote because Hitler damn sure didn't care about your life. If sacrificing your life meant accomplishing his objective, I don't think he was telling people to go out. I mean, like Dan said earlier, he's not telling people to go out, live your life, enjoy your life. He's like, no, your life is mine, and I'm going to use it for my purposes.
I think it depends on what color you're, like what race you were.
Don't try to shake me. Final answer.
Yeah, but
inspirational movie quote.
he wouldn't consider it to be wasted if you weren't enjoying it, but you were doing what's best for the motherland or something like that.
Mm.
Right? He would not consider that to be a waste.
Got
So
Zach here.
yeah, let me go right with Roy again. That's not the big man.
Not the big man. No, it's a movie quote. Want to guess the movie?
Big man.
Enjoy your life. Don't waste it. That sounds like an older person talking to a younger person, right? Father, son. But no, I have no idea.
I say the color purple.
Ooh, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings.
Who was that
yeah,
said? From who to who? Who said that to who?
It doesn't say. It just it doesn't say who said it on this particular one. So
I'd like to know that.
it just has a picture of them all lined up. All right, let's see. Like the Hitler one, some of them are very obvious. So let's
Give us layup now and again. No,
yeah, cause,
the old
yeah.
France should lay down their arms. Yeah, that's
Yeah, give me one that's poorly translated.
Yes.
Again.
The great strength of the totalitarian state is that it forces those who fear it to imitate it.
I'm going to say inspirational movie quote. That was from Forrester.
Forrester.
Oh, that's definitely Hitler.
Yeah, I thought that was from Kevin Costner or his dad in what's the movie where they just wanted to have a catch? Field of Dreams.
Oh, Field of Dreams, yeah.
Right at the end. It was you have to watch the whole credits, and then at the end, there's a thing where his dad's a ghost. They're having a catch, and that's what he says to him.
Dad was a little bit on the strange side. Dad had some weird political views, but a great fastball. Speaking of weird political views with a good fastball, your girl Michelle Tafoya, she didn't waste any time, huh?
Ooh, when you said that, I thought you were going Jenna Ryan.
Oh, I got a lot to say about that. But
Man, why didn't we start with that? Boy, what kind of feedback did you get from that?
Just a lot of good, positive.
All positive. It's nothing but positive. If you've ever been on the radio, you know that 99% of what you get is positive. People that are telling you how much they enjoy your work and really appreciate how open-minded and comfortable you were with such a conversation.
Yeah. Most of it was just, why are you giving her any airtime at all type thing. And
yeah.
And we get the, what are you going to have Kyle Rittenhouse on next? And
Which, have you booked him? That's a hard book, by the way. That he's got quite a following, quite a backing, if you will, financially. I'm guessing that would cost you some money. That's not a local celebrity type of thing.
I do think there are those, I think Jenna Ryan's kind of just a clown. She's she's almost a sad case of someone caught up in all this and doesn't really know what she's talking about. And I don't know that she's swaying anybody's mind, or maybe I don't know. I'm not defending it, but did he come out of it feeling bad for her? Is that what I'm getting here? Is that like you came out of it feeling like, man, feel sorry for? No.
Okay.
No, just as far as her versus Kyle Rittenhouse, I think it's a bit of a different thing. She was not.
Oh, it's way different. That's way different.
She was. She's a silly person. She, claims she wouldn't go to jail because she's blonde and a female, and white. Oh, blonde and white, and it's her whole story. She's local, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, she views herself more as an Instagram star than anything, and we'd have her on again. It's fine.
Yeah,
I felt like Jake
really wanted to
let go, but go ahead.
Yeah, get her with pics.
I was gonna say, get her on with Chappie and have her, generate what was her Instagram thing? Real estate. She had some new image because she had to change her whole name, change her identity, because I'm sure she's getting, hate. But on the flip side of that, she sure as hell made her business sound like it was doing great. And it also sounds like she's gotten a little bit of business because of this celebrity that she's found.
Yeah, well, I was thinking because, we got a lot of feedback, like you surmise, a lot of negative. That's her life, like every day, all the time, no matter what she says. So it's weird that somebody can just live like that and kind of feed off it. That's what she hey, it's part of the territory, part of being Jenna Ryan, media superstar. So
yeah,
if that's her thing, that's cool, if she can handle it. I probably couldn't handle that, just fielding hate all the time.
Oh,
yeah, it's a frustrated interview. I didn't see how she was both biblically persecuted and a political prisoner. Those are my highlights of it.
She was all those things, but she's persevering.
She is. It's good for her. Good on the
for what it's worth. I thought you guys did a fine job. Like, ultimately, she came across to me the same way you described her, as like a little bit of like a clown and kind of someone to be laughed at. But then again, I had my own battles on the show that I was on, in which they would make a joke or make light of something that was happening in a way that was like, untruthful, but they would kind of laugh about it and make a joke about it. And then I'd try to make a joke kind of the same way, right? Perhaps about Trump or whomever. And it was because of the negative reaction that we would get whenever Trump was mentioned. And certainly if you ever say anything negative about him, you can get a lot of trolling that comes from that, whether that's like, Russian trolls or whomever that is. Like, I don't think I'm big enough to be inviting that type of scrutiny. But at the same time, it just always floored me that, I don't know, one side's a lot more comfortable to be made fun of than the other. And I feel like in general, liberals are more willing to kind of laugh at themselves and the absurdity of it all. Whereas, the right may laugh at things that they think are funny, but if you come after theirs, they get very punchy on it. Little political take for me.
I can't disagree with anything you said.
Well, I think that's about it for the game. I think we've gone off the rails here, and I know when to cut my losses. So it looks like Roy won by 1.
Okay, nice.
Yes, you will be receiving a hearty thank you for participating.
Well, while we're on the subject of Hitler, have either of you been to the Holocaust Museum in downtown Dallas?
No.
I think this is the first time hearing that there's a Holocaust Museum in downtown Dallas.
For real?
Yeah.
Are you for real? You've never heard of that?
Yeah.
Dan, you really
Dallas.
should check it out. It's in Dallas. It's right. It's like walking distance from the AAC. God, I wish I could tell you the street name, but I feel like all the streets and the buildups have changed. But that street you would come to if you were going underneath I-35 to pull in where the Hooters is, right? And kind of where 67 kind of connects. And if you go underneath that highway, just on the other side is the Holocaust Museum. It's right near the Dallas Aquarium.
Yeah,
and it is phenomenal.
Right across from the.
I went by myself one time after a show. I spent about 4.5 hours there.
Whoa.
Unfortunately, the coolest exhibit that was not available, but that they have there, is a gentleman who was a part of it, a survivor of the Holocaust, and they have him in holographic form. And you can sit in a room and ask him questions. And obviously, depending on the prompt, right, you'll get a response and, a stated response from this man. And, the way that they did this was that they got him and basically interviewed him for over the course of several days, 20 plus hours or something like that, to just get these answers and kind of these questions that you might have. So highly recommend it, man. On a serious note, a very somber note, because it is heavy, make no mistake, but it is a phenomenal museum. if you're
I
ever
stay
interested.
downtown for a Stars game this week. Maybe I'll just
Do you really?
show in that.
Dude, man, I'm telling you, check it out. You'll be it's very interesting. It's very informative and all those good things. Also very somber. Yeah, very sad. Make no mistake.
I'm sad just thinking about it now.
It's sad, bro.
It's a really uplifting show today.
Ruining my day. It's all about my day.
Well, we can leave it on that, Dan. That's all I wanted you on for was that. But you can hang with us and chat with us for the rest of our show if you want. We got actual content and stuff. It's up to you
for a little bit if you want me, or if you'll.
All right, you want to do our news segment with us?
Let's go.
All right. So I cherry pick news stories that are, whatever I can find. First off, let's talk about the war in Ukraine. That's something that's on everybody's mind. And since we only do a weekly show, it's the first time we've had a chance to talk about it. Fun times. How are y'all enjoying the war?
I wouldn't say I'm enjoying it, Bob. No. I mean, it's the thing that I find fascinating, and I get sucked into it too on social media, but just the amount of disinformation. Now, I know it's coming. I know it's being pumped into us from Russia, right? And that's been going on for several years. So you kind of expect it. But the amount of now people seemingly in the United States that are engaging in it either willingly or unwillingly, right? And when I say unwillingly, I mean, someone shares a meme of a father hugging a daughter, and they caption it that it's a Ukrainian hugging his daughter as he's on his way to war. And then you do some background work and you find out that it's actually a Russian soldier who is hugging his daughter and saying goodbye as he was about to go off to war, right? And I don't know, there's a fine line between propaganda and inspirational propaganda almost. Propaganda is almost always associated with negative. And in a lot of ways, this story of, for example, the Ukrainian fighter pilot who took down 6 Russian planes on his own, right? It's a fake story. It's not real. The Pirate Bay or the Pirate Island folks who apparently told a Russian ship, fuck you, when they demanded their surrender, only to a Snake Island it was. And the story was that all the individuals involved were killed, right? It's a heroic story that in that moment of defiance, right? But then you come to find out that actually they all survived and they did wind up surrendering. So that part of it is really, really odd to me. It's just really weird to see it all kind of unfold. And I mean, amongst that, just trying to follow along, whether it's Zelensky making guerrilla videos all across Ukraine and Kyiv so that no one can find him. I think of the danger of that type of thing. Just, if they get a beat on his phone, right, that he tweeted that video from, he's done for. He's done for. And this guy was a late night comedian. Not 3 years ago before he became the president in 2019. It's like Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, stepping into a role as a president and now have it basically being headhunted. So, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. Dan, your thoughts?
You know way more about it than I do. I know that Joy Behar was upset because she can't travel to Italy now. She sounded like the Russian oligarchs who were complaining on Russian state TV that they were now no longer able to travel to Italy to live in their villas because they're being sanctioned all over the world. And then we got Joy Behar. I mean, that's classic. That's the real victim here.
That's classic American, right? Somehow we are the victims. Ukraine's being bombed night and day, but leave it to Americans to make it about themselves. We'll find a way.
Yeah. That's LeBron is a perfect example of an American. It's always got to be about him, right? It's always got to be about us.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I guess.
I take a shot at
try not to it's probably a bad way to be as a human, but I don't want to get worked up about stuff that I have literally zero control over. If you're getting worked up about something going on here, maybe you could say a vote counts, and maybe you could do something towards that. I even wonder about that sometimes.
Yeah.
But like something like this, if I got really worked up and really worried about it, would that affect it in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah.
So maybe this is like Joey Behar, but just worried about myself. I got enough going on that, trying not to have a heart attack and,
Seem like you're doing well in that regard, by the way. I hear
weight or what,
your diet is fantastic.
You got your own kids and their problems and this and that, and
kids have
I
problems
just
for
can't
sure.
get fired up about Ukraine. Enough people are. I see that lane is taken, so I'm in a different lane.
Well, we have another lane maybe you want to get fired up about. Another story happening is authorities seized nearly $3 million worth of meth hidden in an onion shipment. So we have here in San Diego, the pictures are just huge pallets of onions. And yeah, they sniffed out and they have $3 million worth of meth disguised as onions in these thousands of onion bags, 1,200 small packages of meth disguised as onions in an onion shipment in San Diego.
I gotta say, I gotta hand it to the authorities. That seems to me like that'd be a great place to hide something.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't smell it. I learned in a documentary years ago that the way to ship drugs is in coffee, because the coffee smell. The documentary was, I think, Beverly Hills Cop.
See, I've heard mustard. You want to pack it in mustard.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hats off to the authorities.
Yeah. So
it is impressive. Did they hollow out those onions? Like, what? I mean, was it like someone balled up a bunch of meth into what looked like an onion, or did they hollow out the onion to the point that, almost like a coconut? Because I know this was found with like liquid cocaine was found inside a bunch of coconuts not too long ago. And what, they balled up the meth and just put it in like those onion bags you get at the store, and they thought that would pass?
Yeah, the big onion bags, and the meth, the picture of it's just a ball, and it's wrapped in white. So, and they're the white onions. So, yeah, they're tucked in pretty well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess... did you guys ever do the smell an onion, bite an apple test before? Dan, did you ever do this?
Taste like an onion?
It does, because your sense of smell is stronger than your sense of taste. If you smell an onion and bite an apple, that apple will taste like an onion.
Maybe they needed to, for every ball of meth, they needed to put a real onion.
Had to like double it up, or like,
a bag of meth balls. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe they didn't smell.
Yeah.
Maybe they put too many in a couple of the bags. I don't know. I mean,
just
what does meth smell like?
If they could find $3 million in one shipment, right? And credit to the authorities for shutting this one down. But if they get one, and that's $3 million, how many have gotten through? How many times over?
Yeah, like, was this their first try, or?
Yeah, is this the first try they tried the onion trick? I'm guessing not. But that's just in my experience. I have been caught for things doing the first time of them, so I can't say that that's a given. That you've definitely done it more than once if you get caught one time doing something, but...
Yeah, those cartel guys, they got some engineering chops. Just wish they'd put it to better use. Next story is a local story. Escaped Grand Prairie Cobra was kept in a container with no locks. Our show and I believe the Hang Zone have been following this since day one. But yeah, so apparently the cobra that's been on the loose for several months now was found to be kept improperly and credited with the escape.
Yeah, we figured it was kept improperly.
Well,
Had to have been kept improperly.
But my question is, like, it sounds like, just reading the little snippet here, is that the cage wasn't locked, but are snakes notorious for opening latches that are unlocked? Is that a skill they possess?
I think you're thinking.
I heard it stuck its little tail through the bars and then kind of latched over and hit the latch, and boom, it was gone. Right?
A
little bit like Sean Connery in The Rock. It started swinging that tail until it could loop it over to the side. Right? It hooked the rattle, or I guess it's a cobra, but it hooked the tail there on the end and just gave it a nice pull. You know?
I think we have to check with this guy who lost the snake, because he has admitted everything. He admitted that he lost the snake. He could have just said nothing and nobody would have known.
Yeah.
Right.
You claiming false flag? You saying false flag?
Huh?
Are you saying false flag here? You think there's an ulterior motive going on? Something about him trying to get the world?
I never thought of that till right this second. Maybe, yeah, do we even know this exists? Because he just said it does.
Right? No evidence, right? Did he have mouses at his house just waiting to be, fed?
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's so many possibilities we haven't really thought of.
Son of a bitch could be taking us all for a ride.
But
I know.
But if it is real, he could have just said, "Oh yeah, I had a latch," but he didn't. He's come clean on everything. And I think
why would he give that up? Yeah, I kept it in a cardboard box. I figured that would be just fine. Like, isn't that how you handle a cobra?
Got to be dead, right? If it exists because of the freeze.
Ooh, I think so. Gotta be. If it was outdoors, could a snake survive that? They are cold-blooded, but
that means they need warmth.
Yes, right. That means they need warmth. Yes.
Yeah, they don't. There's not cobras in Alaska, right?
No, not to my knowledge. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. He's probably dead. He's probably gone. We'll never hear from him again. But that's good news.
Yeah, you don't want anybody to get bit. So the last story I have here is, if you're a fan of the Oscars, they have apparently cut 8 categories from the television broadcast in order to shorten it. Have you heard of this, guys? Dan?
I've heard that headline, but what have they cut?
So they are cutting, I have it right here. Okay. It's short subject documentary, film editing, makeup and hairstyling, original score music, production design, animated short film, live action short film, and sound.
Won't miss a single one.
Won't miss a single one.
I mean, I hate it because
I'm a fan of sound. So
yeah, those people behind the scenes, right? They deserve their time to shine.
But yeah, that's
because
not who cares?
Yeah, but it's ultimately like it's a bunch of people who, the average person, the viewer, has never heard of. And if since this is such a television production, like ultimately they do want eyes to be viewing this. Dan, do you guys do the Oscars? I know Corby's been doing that for a long time. Do you guys do the Oscar recap show, or do you just kind of rip and read, grab the highlights, maybe pull a piece of audio or two that's fun, but you guys aren't sitting there taking notes for 3.5 hours?
Yeah, probably the second thing you said. Get some audio that's fun. Usually watch it,
Okay, monologue. You will watch it. You will watch the Oscars.
Yeah. I'm interested. It's the one award.
You're a buff.
Show. Maybe Emmys.
Okay. I would say you're more of an Emmy guy. You've always been more TV than film, to me.
Yeah, there's more stuff I've heard of, but I try to watch the Oscar films the last few years.
Okay.
I at least will get them all. And
how many times have you been right about the best film that you saw versus what actually won?
I'm not very good at that. You have to play the game. It's like the Hitler game a little bit. You have to say how many questions in a row has it been not Hitler? So
okay.
Okay, what are the Oscar voters thinking of here? I think this is the best film, but what do the Oscar voters think,
I didn't know exactly which game you were referencing when you said the Hitler game. I didn't know if you meant the game we were playing or Hitler's strategy in general of kind of deciding on who wins and who loses.
What's the difference, really?
It's the same.
So, but with that, there's one, and you, Roy, in particular, the original score, that means the music from like Encanto and Frozen, those won't be featured.
No, they'll be featured. Someone will win, right? But,
yeah.
I mean, if they were going to play the song, right? If they're going to play Surface Pressure, or they're going to play, Family Madrigal or whatever, if they're going to play those songs, then I'm in, right? And my kids will love it. But they're not going to play those songs. They're going to play 5 seconds of those songs, and then they're going to introduce somebody who I've never heard of, who I've never seen, who I have no idea what they sound like, and who I don't know any of the people that they're referencing when they're going to be thanking folks or doing it, right? Instead, you just get Lin-Manuel Miranda up there and have him accept an award for Encanto, and I'm going to be like, cool, I know who that is, and, let's go. I don't think there's any mistake there by the Oscars. I think they're making the right call.
Yeah, it's getting too long. I think the whole point was to cut it down to under 3 hours. Is the whole idea here.
When is this Oscars that you speak of?
I haven't watched an Oscars, I don't think, ever. So eventually they're going to air it.
Okay, it's not the.
You should know that.
You're the
Sunday, March 27th.
You're delivering.
There you go.
A quick zoom there, or a quick Google gets you to about a month from now, Dan. In fact, a month from today, Sunday, March 27th, 7 to 10 p.m.
I assume everybody's like me and doesn't watch the Oscars, so I didn't think about getting that
that's because we have great local radio shows that'll recap it for us. Like, you don't need to necessarily do it if you just listen to
Super Bowl, right?
That's what I hear.
Yeah,
that's what I hear.
And I'm kind of a.
But I feel like the ladies' Super Bowl is stuff like The Bachelor, right? They all get down and just watch those every single week. Although I guess once a year. Your analogy's better. I defer.
WrestleMania is better. Anyway, well, that concludes our news segment, and rolling on to our TV and movie talk. We usually cover Cobra Kai, but Nick's not here.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're going to push Cobra Kai to next week, but we have the season finale of Righteous Danstones tonight. So I think it's worth talking about. Dan, you're a Righteous Danstones fan, I'm assuming.
Of course. Who are the motorcycle guys? That's the question, right?
Right. And I've racked my brain. I don't know who it could be.
I didn't think it was his old buddy.
That's too obvious.
Yeah.
That was it. And he doesn't seem that well organized. He's just going to send a bunch of wrestlers at you to beat you up.
So certainly they're going to reveal that tonight, but then leave some kind of something hanging.
Right.
That's an interesting thing about that show after the first season. I don't feel like they left a lot hanging after the first season, that they almost could have let it go and you'd be none the wiser. So I have not yet started the second season. I kind of tend to wait until it's all done so I can binge it in a couple of days' time. So I have not seen what Baby Billy and the crew are all up to.
You haven't seen any of it?
In season 2. No, not in season 2. In fact, there's another show on HBO that I've seen actually that I've been into, my wife and I have actually been into, that I'm trying to recommend to everybody that I can. And on the surface, it's going to sound like bullshit. Like, oh my God, I'm not going to watch that trash. But John Cena in Peacemaker on HBO, he is absolutely hysterical. Unbelievably funny. I don't know if John Cena can ever ascend to The Rock's level of celebrity making that transition from WWE to then like the big screen. And in truth, the first couple times I'd seen him, I think he was in a movie where, I think a movie called like Cock Blocked or something like that, or Dad Blocked or something like that. They're just maybe Blocked, it might have been called. And he was in another movie in which he played a husband and wife character where it was like vacation friends. They became best friends with an African-American couple while on vacation. And then they met each other like outside of the vacation world. And they found out that Cena and his wife are absolutely nuts, right? They were totally cool on vacation, but now in real life, they're gonzo. But the Peacemaker and his character in that. You ever see Suicide Squad? Either of you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Man, he just he was good in that. Idris Elba, the kind of main star in that one, but John Cena was good in that as the Peacemaker. The HBO show though is phenomenal. It's so funny. He's so funny, and I was floored by it. Perhaps it's because I'm so surprised by it that I like want to tell people about it, but it blew me away. It really, really funny. Highly recommend it.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, let me go back to Gemstones for a second.
Please.
Okay.
Just for you, Adam.
All right.
Don't listen. Roy. Do you think it's possible who's the guy from the other church that was trying to pitch Danny McBride?
Yeah, I forget his name of the show. It's Eric Andre, right?
Eric Andre.
Yeah.
So before he was turned down by Danny McBride, there was no attempts on John Goodman's life.
Ooh.
So maybe this is because he's a guy that could get people organized, and
yeah,
he
was very upset. Yeah,
they wouldn't accept a bribe to come. If it was the wrestler guys, people, they would have maybe accepted a bribe.
Mm-hmm.
But these are professional people, possibly sent by him to get the old man out of the way, and he doesn't realize yet that Danny McBride has just been given the okay to go ahead and spend the money. So that's my prediction for tonight.
Ooh.
And
Roy, you'll forget that in 10 weeks or whenever.
I'll forget it. I'll catch up on it. It'll finally dawn on me, but it won't dawn on me until we get to that point.
But I might.
Is it the entire same cast from the first season? They bring the son back. He was great in a show with Drew Barrymore and I want to say
Gideon?
Timothy Oliphant.
Gideon, yeah.
I was going to say he looks like the guy from Justified, or maybe he is the guy from Justified. There's two guys that look.
Oh, that's Baby Billy. Yeah, that's
yes.
God, he was in the Shield.
No, that's a different guy. Different guy from the Shield. Not the same guy as who I'm talking about. Santa Clarita's Diet was the show he was in.
That's Timothy Oliphant.
Okay, that is Timothy Oliphant. So his daughter, and then their daughter's friend is the one who plays the youngest son in, or sorry, not the youngest son, Danny McBride's son in the Righteous Gemstones from the first season. Is he still in it? Is he still in season 2? Came back from his mission?
Yeah, but he's not as prominent as in the first season, but he's there.
Okay.
No, but Dan, I haven't thought of who it is because I've kind of racked my brain, but that makes perfect sense because the way they reacted when Jesse said he couldn't give them the money.
Yeah.
It was a complete flip. So, all right, I'm buying it there. All right. So, we're looking forward to Righteous Gemstones. Peacemaker is great. Are you a comic book movie guy, Dan?
No. You guys go ahead.
Oh.
Talk.
Marvel or DC. You don't
talk
you
amongst
don't
yourselves.
It's like having Nick on the show because he's so uninterested in Marvel comic movies of any kind. You have no interest in Spider-Mans or Suicide Squads or Eternals or any of that mess.
Joker. I thought Joker was one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Now, is that because you're, hashtag girl dad? Maybe because I have a 9-year-old son, and it's like we have to watch everything. So, is it because maybe your kids aren't interested, or you just never been comic book guy?
Maybe. You might have something there. My kids certainly aren't interested, but yeah, I also have never really been into that.
Outside of the Gemstones, is there anything else you're binging on or looking at right now as a show you're catching up on or keeping track of or plan on catching up on?
I mean,
in the near future.
Suspects, Ozark.
Of course.
Ozark.
God.
I mean, waiting for April 29th or whatever it is when the second. I mean, I guess that's going to be the finale. The show finale is coming, which is
that soon.
Yeah. This is the second part is coming to and I mean, I guess is it better to get out, before they've stretched it too far and just give you a great story, or is it better to go long, a la Game of Thrones and risk like what happened at the end of everybody basically, even though you're the most popular television show perhaps in history, you also have everybody saying how you like drew it on too long and kind of sucked it up at the end.
Yeah, I guess selfishly you'd want it to be drawn on so you could have more stuff to watch. But
I do.
Leftovers or something like that. Did you guys do that? Like that was a 2-season thing, and
yeah, I know it went really quick.
Yeah, and I liked it a lot. I have great, memories of it. But probably better for them just to end it.
Mm-hmm.
Ozark, especially because Ozark, I've had to suspend a lot of belief just to buy that the story is the way it is.
Every single second is so high risk. Jason Bateman is the calmest effing human I've ever from the very first episode to now, he's been face to face with his own death a dozen times, and it's like he's a man of stone.
He's like Tweek's dad on South Park.
But the thing about Ozark is that they have classic TV baby, because any baby they have do you have kids, Adam?
Yeah.
Okay, so you realize that it's totally fake, just the minimal care they have to pay to their baby.
Oh,
when
God.
they're watching it, like we'll just have the teenage boy watch it for a little while, and that could never happen. Baby takes all your time. Then they have like a full meal. Every meal, they have like this home-cooked breakfast. Everybody's got tons of eggs and pancakes, and then at dinner, tons, and they've got wine, and then they just got a couple dishes to clean up. It's never a mess.
Yeah, she never is.
They got this perfect house on a beautiful lake, just luckily happened to be owned by this old man with a terminal disease who wanted just someone to live there. So they got it dirt cheap. What else do I hate about? Do I hate, but I love it,
Yeah.
They also, anytime, that guy just happened to have mob connections. Oh, cool. So he can meet someone with, heroin that they needed or a way to
and
sell
the Kansas City.
How about a sheriff just going missing and like no one really seeming to give a shit? No one.
Billboard, right?
No one really that concerned about a sheriff just going missing. Yeah, it's just he probably
What's
just
her name
left.
who got killed? The old lady.
Old blonde lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Golly.
I wish I knew.
Darlene or something?
Darlene?
I think so.
Well, that's not old blonde lady. Old blonde lady that got killed.
Old lady. That was
you are talking about Darlene.
Poppy,
Okay, yeah, that was banging the 18-year-old. Yeah.
Right. That's Darlene, I think. But anyway, she would have been killed long ago with her attitude.
Oh my God.
Absurdly so.
Well, even her and her husband, it's like they just kill people in their house with whatever. He was being disrespectful, so I shot his face off.
Yeah, why don't you go just go bury him. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Guy that gets his D shot off, but all of a sudden is willing to do business with the same individual that did it. Yeah. Have a hard time believing that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be friendly
with it,
with
and I'm looking forward to it. But
I love it. I mean, great show.
It's chaos and tenseness all wrapped up into one. Well, that's all I got for TV talk.
Do you still watch the new South Parks, by the way, Dan? I know you've always been a South Park fan. I've always thought it to be like one of the most intelligent shows on television. It's funny, like people see the animated version of it, right? And they're just like, it's got to be some stupid kid show. That's what I feel like people were telling me all my life. But now when I watch South Park, I think it has some of the smartest social commentary that exists on television today, and they still provide that. And if you caught any of the specials that were on Paramount Plus, whether it was was it called?
The COVID.
I can't remember what they called it.
The pandemic special.
Yeah, the
pandemic special. There's a post-COVID and the COVID returns or something like that.
Post-COVID specials. Those were fantastic. Have you kept up with that, Dan? Are you aware that there's a new season going on?
Yeah, there's 3 so far this year. I'm totally caught up. Have you seen them?
That's what I'm talking about. I have. I have.
With Token's name.
Dude, I mean, that was brilliant, right? It's Tolkien. And for those who didn't know. And I always knew that, by the way.
For thinking that it was Token.
Yeah, I always knew that it was Tolkien. I don't know about you guys, but...
I discovered it in the last 5 years because, like you said, before I thought it was just this stupid cartoon with fart jokes and whatever. And
wait, hold on. Stop. You're saying you've just discovered South... You're telling me you haven't been an avid South Park fan for like 15, 20 years? I've always, quite honestly, listening to you, assumed that.
Yeah, no. But like about 5 years ago was turned on to it.
Wow.
And I've rolled through probably season whatever. I went back like 5 seasons and then...
Man.
I started at episode 1 earlier this year. Not this year. During the pandemic.
Yeah.
And
man, you would really enjoy going back
every episode in the past 2 years.
Okay, so you've seen everything. Yeah. Seen all that they've done. Man, that's so amazing because when you go back to some of those early seasons, it really is like almost a history lesson of kind of like what was going on in the
right. And you
I hate to use
try and put together. Well, what are they mocking here?
Yes. Oh, the zeitgeist of the time.
Yeah, it must have been when George Bush did this, or Obama did this, or what.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's so. Certainly, you've seen the documentary that shows
how they make it,
and how it's week to week, and it's
how they used to make it versus
Thursday. They're finishing it, Wednesday night or Thursday morning, and he said he'd keep tweaking it if they had more time to work on it. So,
and an individual, I think. One individual in particular that I think has helped like keep the show going hugely. Obviously, Trey Parker and Matt Stone are the original creators, and they're really smart and funny. But the addition of Bill Hader, and those that know Bill Hader, star of the HBO show Barry, he's phenomenal in it. Was a head writer on SNL for a long time, and he was the one who came up with the characters of PC Principal and Strong Woman, and a lot of these characters that now, in today's times or really in the past couple of years have like grown into, some would say more of mainstays to the show than like even the old school Mr. Garrison types that were kind of the characters to be made fun of in the past. And now, I mean, PC Principal and Strong Woman and those characters play such a prominent role, and a lot of people don't realize Bill Hader had a big hand in that. Guy's super talented.
I knew he was involved from the documentary, but I didn't know that he created those guys.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he's still involved now.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to say it's a trio at this point, but yeah, he's definitely still in it.
Yeah. Barry, do y'all know when the next season of Barry's coming out? I love that show. Is there a next season?
I want to see it's this summer. Dan, any idea?
I'm going to say you're probably right.
Okay.
I'm doing a quick search, but
season 3, episode 1 will air April 24th. So 2 months away.
Search quicker than I do.
Right
before
right before the NFL draft, bringing it back to sports.
And that's a great segue because y'all want to talk sports? We've actually run pretty long, so we could talk sports or we could end it right here. I'll leave it up to you two guys.
You tell me, Dan. You talk a lot of sports. You're required to talk sports on a pretty regular basis. Well, not so much as we were required to back in my time, but still, I'm sure you have to mix some things in. So, any thoughts that have
I mean,
struck you here.
Get us to the playoffs. That's all we're concerned about.
Can Ottinger get, man? The Stars are playoffs wise. I think they'll be in it. I think they will find their way into the playoffs actually. But my problem has just been the reliance on two top guys for almost a decade now. And I love you guys do a phenomenal segment every week with Tyler Sagan. You've always been great and had this amazing rapport with the guests. And when you said the other day that Sagan has been doing your show for 9 years, I was blown away by that. I was like, man, has it really been that long? But yeah, he's in his early 30s now. And I mean, JB Ben, such an incredible captain, great leader. But I think it's a lot to put the weight on his shoulders of being the guy at this stage of his career. I do, especially with his style, because it's not necessarily the style that the NHL has kind of evolved into. What do you think of that?
Well, I think I was just doing a throwaway line, and I actually don't care at all.
No, well,
but
fair.
Really more concerned. I want to know this. This will be my sports topic. And then
so I can get sucked in like that. I can get beat like that.
The sports topic is, what do you make of Rich Dalrymple? Did he take upskirt photos of Charlotte Jones?
You see the video of it?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen the video from the War Room of that allegation? So I've heard the allegation.
Like a fake one floating around. You've seen a real one?
Well, so when I was at the Fan, we had like a feed into the War Room at all times that we were kind of looking at. And I think it was available to folks on DallasCowboys.com. But there was an instance in that broadcast where we were getting reaction from people, as it was going on. They're like, hey, what was that we just saw on the webcam? And we didn't think anything of it, but I believe on YouTube there is a video of the shot, and I admit it's hard to say exactly what he did, right? I don't know for sure. You can't really see him like reach out his arm underneath Charlotte Jones's skirt, but you sure can see him check his phone shortly after she like stands up and kind of celebrates, and he presses a couple buttons. Again, I'm probably getting too far down the speculatory tunnel here, but
have you heard the speculation that maybe they're sleeping with each other, and this is a little game, a little something that they do?
I had not heard that speculation.
That's as risky as it can get.
I had not heard that speculation, but that speculation actually, that actually is somewhat believable, only because how could the cheerleader thing cost the Cowboys $2.5 million in a settlement, but nothing would come of the Charlotte allegations? Like, you're telling me Jerry is going to pay off cheerleaders, but he's going to do nothing if his daughter was potentially...
Right, but if she was not mad at it...
bingo, if she had no problem with it.
Because do you guys do Succession?
I have not done Succession.
All right. Well, then
I have not. I need to get on that
analogy, but there's some sex games going on with management and some of Logan Roy's family. So that would be the analogy on just illicit stuff going on in the hierarchy of these big time families that we don't understand.
Man, money families. Money families can do way more stuff than normal families. Yeah, can be a lot more free.
Yeah. That's interesting. I believe he probably did what he did with the cheerleaders just because of settlement. Who throws money like that at nothing?
Well, as Jerry said on
Mike Reiner had, I can't remember her name right this second, but she's a prominent. She's a Dallas writer who has a podcast about the cheerleaders, which was up and flying before this scandal. But he's, Mike Reiner has a podcast, and he just had her on, and I listened to it, and she said on there she talked to some of the cheerleaders, after this was broken, and anonymously, more than one told her, "I wish I was in that room because I could use $400,000 for somebody to take a couple of pictures of me naked."
Yeah, probably a decent trade-off. I mean,
right? They weren't.
I'd make that trade.
They weren't. These photos haven't become public. So it's not like Erin Andrews, that situation where she was being stalked and then the photos got put on. So just get $400,000 if one guy took photos of you and might have rubbed one out or two.
And then your boss pays the bill for it.
Yeah, sounds like a good deal.
I know, it's good work.
And by the way, though, like the motivation for Jerry to pay the bill of Rich Dalrymple, it's pretty high. You're talking about a gentleman who probably has details on every cowboy skeleton of the past 25 years. Right. So
think of, like you said before, on Is Something the First Time. We've heard about a few of them. So think of the ones that we don't know about.
No idea about.
Especially if they're willing to throw $2.4 million just for a guy taking 5 seconds of photos. What would they be willing to pay for whatever girl was with Jerry or what? Who knows what craziness has been happening? But
yes,
that $2.4 million and nobody blinks. That was nothing to them.
Not even batting an eye.
So how much have they spent over the years?
Great. I guess you don't get a billionaire without having a few skeletons, but that's going to do it for our show today. I'm going to tell Nick get well soon. Dan, thank you for jumping on with us. And Roy.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Thanks,
Adam. Thanks for doing the podcast, man.
Your daughter for me.
Hey, thanks for fighting through that, guys. Boy, I was really worried we were going to get a full podcast of that running underneath there. I was concerned about that, but thank you,
glad
Dan.
You didn't give her some of that drink.
Yeah, I almost did. I probably need to get her down tonight. She did. She wanted it too much, as a matter of fact. I got to go talk to my wife about that, see what she's been doing on the side when I have not been home to get these two to sleep, because I know it's tough being a mom, but I can't have her taking shortcuts, for God's sakes.
Yeah, they did it back in the olden days. Well, until we see you next time, everybody stay above average.
Thanks, guys.